I'm looking outside my window. I try to see where my light goes. I just don't know how it slips out. There must be some.
Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jordy if you don't know me, and if you do know me, then welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me again for this tutorial. Today I filmed my version of a natural look using all drugstore products. So if you don't want to be full glam all the time and you are balling on a budget, then this is the tutorial for you. I apologize for being gone for a little while. I was struggling with my eye amongst a million other things, but I'm back and I am getting ready to film my Nyx Face Awards video. I'm so excited. Once that video is out and voting starts, I would love if you guys would vote for me. I will need your support, but make sure you only vote for me if you really think I deserve your vote. If there is something that you're like, oh my god, that's way better, definitely vote for them. If you'd like to be part of my little YouTube family, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you really like me, you could even push the little bell and be notified every time I upload. Before we get into the tutorial, I just want to give a shout out to Fawnstar for sending me this incredible piece. It's a choker and a body chain. It goes all the way down and has this little doodah here. Alright, now I will stop rambling. Let's do this. It has been a while. For primer, I'll be using the NYX Angel Veil. This primer does remind me a little bit of my favorite, the Optical Illusion Primer by Urban Decay. The only difference being this one is a little bit more on the dry side and you need to use a little bit more product. But it does a really good job of filling in pores and fine lines for a flawless foundation application. I forgot my coffee. Have it be known that this is not my usual color of coffee. This is just how it came. I usually like it much darker. For foundation, I'm going to use the Essence Pure Nude Foundation and the NYX Drop Foundation. This is a pure beige and this is light, and I'm just going to mix them together. I'm just gonna put them right on my NYX 22 brush together. If you've been here before, you know that when it comes to makeup, I am like a mad scientist. I can't use just one foundation. I have to put them together to make perfect foundation babies. I'm just buffing this in. It's not super heavy or full coverage, just enough so that I look a little bit more alive. For concealer, I'm going to use the NYX HD Studio Photogenic Concealer in the shade Porcelain. Just going to use that to mask my black eyes from lack of sleep. I'm so used to the fatty Shape Tape brush. I feel like I've dipped this back in 50 times. I probably didn't need that much concealer. Just using this also to highlight down my nose, chin, the center of my face. Does that look the same color to you? I think that that went a little bit darker once it hit the oxygen. Next, I'm going to blend that out with a blue sponge. Getting crazy in here. Bringing that over my eyelid because they're transparent and you can see every vein. My jewelry that I have in my lip right now is that clear plastic, which seems to do the best in that piercing for some reason. But I've been wearing it for a while and now the back of the jewelry has like worn away a little bit and it's really, really sharp, and I cannot stop pulling it forward and twisting it back and forth, and it kind of like tears into the back of my lip like a tiny blade and doesn't feel very good now. but I can't stop doing it. What is wrong with me? Self-destruction. Maybe I was born with it. I know it's not Maybelline, because Maybelline's not cruelty-free. I am going to use my RCMA No Color Powder to set. It's not exactly drugstore, but it is incredibly affordable and beats any drugstore powder that I have tried, and a lot of high-end powders actually. I'm not going to do any baking because I do want this just to look like my skin but better. So I'm just using my damp sponge to press it into my foundation to absorb the moisture and keep it in place. Using a little bit more in areas where it's prone to creasing, like my smile lines between my brows and forehead, my nasal folds, and then I'm just gonna go ham with this brush. So my base looks good, but not like so good that it doesn't still look like my skin, which is what I'm going for. Now I'm gonna contour with my Physicians Formula Bronze Booster Matte Sculpting. This is all I've been using to contour since I got it. Thank you so much, THATAYLAA, for recommending it. If you don't follow her on YouTube, she is a pale girl's YouTube dream, and I'll link her below. I don't want this to be like a super chiseled, structured contour. I just want it to be soft and warm and bronzed. Who's texting me right now? So I'm just gonna throw that in there and really blend it out. Also adding this to my jawline and under here to what my grandma calls my waddle. Is this really called a waddle? Next, I'm going to fairly lightly contour my nose. So popular. Just drawing two parallel lines down the sides of my nose. And then a little bit across on the end of my nose. And just also keeping that super, super blended. For brows, I'm going to use the NYX 3-in-1 brow pencil, but I'm only going to use the one. There's actually 3 pieces of this. There's this one, and then you twist it, and there's a thing in here, and then you take this end off, and there is a brow mascara, but I just want the pencil right now. Again, we're going for a bit of a more natural look. So I'm just going to really lightly fill in any sparse areas with itty bitty hair strokes. This is the shade Brunette, and I find that the pencil is a really nice light brown, but the eyebrow filler in crayon thing is quite dark, and so is the eyebrow mascara. Just following my natural brow shape and giving them a little bit more structure. Do I need to pluck them? Yes. Am I going to? No. And then I'm gonna use a tiny bit of the Essence Make Me Brow in Brownie Browns, just to give them some extra fluff. And since this is a natural look, naturally I would have 2 brows, so I'm going to also fill in the other one. But I'm gonna do that off camera, I'll be right back. Eyebrow number 2 is on, and now we can move on to our eyes. We're not gonna do much on the eyes because this is natural. I'm gonna go back in with this matte sculpting palette and do just a little baby eye contour. Picked up a tiny bit of that darker contour shade. Just gonna put that in the outer corner. And a tiny bit on the lower lash line. On the lid, I'm gonna grab this shade from the NYX Rustic Antique palette. It just has like the tiniest bit of shimmer that'll just make it look like I don't have really dry eyelids. Also gonna pop a little bit of that under the brow. Now I'm gonna coat my top lashes with the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. Now, while this mascara dries a little bit, because this one does take a second to get dry, I'm gonna go back to my face and I'm going to be dusting the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana all over my face. This just gives such a nice glow, and applying it over my contour seems to kind of give it a little bit of an extra blend. I really like that. To highlight, I'm going to use the Essence Light Up Your Face Luminizing Palette, and I'm going to use this shade in the middle, and I'm going to apply that to my cheekbones, a little bit on my forehead, chin, Cupid's bow, and on the tip and center of my nose. I'm also going to put some of that on the inner corner of my eyes, brighten them up a little bit. Going back to the eyes, I am going to add in some individual lashes to make mine look better. So I just grab one with tweezers and I have a little blob of glue that I dip it in. Let the glue get a little bit tacky, and then I'm just going to place them where there's little gaps in my lashes. I'm starting with the medium length lashes, which is about the same length as my natural lash. And then I will add some longer ones near the end of my eye. Longer one. Oh, that's really long. That's fine. I also have this itty bitty little shark eye. And I'm just gonna put him on the inner corner so that there's lots of volume throughout. So you can see the difference from this eye to this eye. This eye already looks way better. So I'm gonna throw some lashes on this one, and then we'll come back to this one and make them look a little bit better. Both eyes are all filled with lashes now. I'm just gonna go in with a false lash tool, and I'm going to very carefully kind of squeeze them down to my lashes without pulling them off. I'm always so tempted to curl them, but it is risky. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of mascara just to blend them all together. And I'm going to carefully coat them with a little bit of mascara just for some more drama. I just love how wispy and natural they look, especially from like the MySpace angle. You just can't get that look with a strip lash. You just can't. This is a huge pain in the ass, but you just do it. I'm gonna put like a tiny bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. I am going to amp up the glow a little bit. So to do that on the eyes, I'm going to use NYX Lid Lingerie in the shade White Lace Romance. And this is so pretty. Just gonna put that on the inner corner and just blend that out a little bit. So shiny. I'm also going to use NYX Away We Glow liquid highlighter in Moon Glow. And I'm going to apply that to my cheekbones, just dabbing it out with my finger. I'm gonna wait for that to dry completely before I add any blush, because if it's still kind of sticky, I'll get some kind of cakey blush-ish happening there. For the lips, I naturally don't have a super defined lip line. It's kind of blurry. I have little red dots all over the place. So I'm going to skip lip liner. I'm gonna use the NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade Lace Detail. And I'm just going to apply that and then kind of blot it off with my finger. Not only does this make it pretty and natural, but it blots off all the excess product, and then you don't get any like cakey, cracking liquid lipstick issues. I'm gonna go in with Wet n Wild gel liner for a tiny bit of definition. Also just blotting that away. This is in the shade Bear to Comment. Now I'm going to apply some of my favorite drugstore blush, Luminoso Baked Blush from Milani, the original Luminoso. And I'm just gonna dust that on my cheeks and a little bit over to my nose and a little bit on my nose too. Last but not least, I am going to add some sun-kissed freckles, again using this bronzer palette, and I'm going to use this shade here. I'm just adding them to my cheeks and my nose. If any are looking too dark, I just pat them out with my finger. To keep it in place, I'm going to spray it with NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. And I almost forgot, but I definitely need some NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk in my waterline. Just makes me look so much more awake, because really I am not. And this is how I do my natural-ish, still looks like me, but better look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night or afternoon and week and month and year.